Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh and welcome to another amazing game of StarCraft 2. This one is being played between ClouD. He's the pink Terran up on the top spawn of Shattered Temple. This is the MLG edition once again. And back over on the right side spawn we have ATN Socke, our light blue Protoss player. And this is Game 3 in a best of 3 series being played for the Justin.tv Invitational number 2. Series is tied 1-1, of course. That's the only way you can have a Game 3 in a best of 3. We saw some cool games on Icy Cup Fighting Spirit and Icy Cup Valhalla just prior to this, and now we have MLG Shattered Temple to decide the series. Socke basically showed some really great micro in the early game of that last match. ClouD did have some really great macro in the first game, going command center first before even a barracks, and actually basically won the game after winning one huge decisive battle, tipping the scales way in his favor. So we'll see which of those things happens in Game 3. Socke tucking in his first pylon into his nexus just so it's not really exposed from any cliffs or ledges or anything like that. ClouD is building a supply depot on the far right side of his base so warp prisms can't really sneak in, or void rays or phoenixes for that matter. Good vision coverage there in his main so far. He'll probably continue to build them along the edges here. And getting that first barracks up, so not going for super fast command center this game. And by super fast I mean fastest possible, but Gateway number 1 coming up for Socke. Nothing crazy here. He's already scouting the bottom spawn location. Not going to find anything. Of course, we know that, but he cannot. So he will continue on to the cross spawn, most likely. And ClouD looks like he is probably just going to wait in his base until Socke finds him, and then he'll just send his SCV on over to Socke's base. He can basically figure out where Socke is based on when his scouting probe arrives. Or he could just slap me in the face and send a scouting SCV of his own. And he is actually going to go the correct direction first to these close flying positions, it looks like, based on that rally anyway. Or that queue of commands, command queue. Cybernetics core coming up for Socke, still no second gas, although he could get it if he wanted to. Instead he's getting a zealot out quite quickly. And ClouD is going to come in and see this, and probably be just fine with what he sees. A single gateway, cybernetics core, and a single gas. Then he bounces right back out. Doesn't want to stick around for a stalker to pop out and blow up his poor little SCV. But probe number 1 tried to get up ClouD's ramp, and it looks like a single marine was able to ward him off, though. Socke did not get up the ramp at all. He has no idea what's on the way from ClouD, but he didn't see a command center building, so at least he knows that is ruled out. Sentry coming up. Warp gate tech coming up. Pylon number 2, actually 3, coming up. Is he spending his chrono boost? Yes, he is. All on that warp gate tech. Still only has one gateway, though. I will be interested to see what he's going to do next, whether it be mass gates or perhaps a robotics facility or Stargate. ClouD is getting a fast expand up, not the super fast expand, but still pretty quick. Socke has been keeping up with him pretty well so far. It looks like he's going to drop gateways number 2 and 3 for the time being, though, sticking to one base, at least for the early game. ClouD is going to build a bunker out front that has backfired on him earlier on Icy Cup Valhalla, but it worked out just fine for him on Icy Cup Fighting Spirit, so we'll see what happens here in Game 3. Barracks number 2 coming up with that tech lab. Did he research anything just yet? No concussive shells or stim packs researched yet. Gotta wait for this barracks to finish to actually, see that, but you can just click on a unit like the Marauder and see what upgrades he has. No concussive shell or stim pack just yet. Command center number 2 going to be finishing up here soon. Socke still just sticking with those 3 gates, nothing else yet. ClouD did get a Reaper out of that tech lab barracks before flipping it over onto reactor, so now we'll see what this Reaper is actually able to accomplish. There's a sentry and a zealot already here trying to get him out of the main base. Now we see a nexus being dropped at the natural for Socke, so he is keeping up once again with his opponent ClouD. He's also keeping the Xel'Naga tower under his control for the most part. Of course he can't see this Reaper bouncing around in the visibility blockers, but he already saw him once, should be able to predict when he'll be back, if he's going to come back. What do we have here? Barracks number 3, still working off of just 1 gas. Second orbital command is now complete, so his macro tools are all ready to go. Socke, on the other hand, once he gets his second nexus up, probably will be building more gateways, up to 5 or 6 most likely. We'll see once it completes. so far these players are being very, very passive. They're just playing their own game, letting their opponent do whatever they want, and we'll see who actually has the better build order, I guess, by the mid-game. Engineering Bay coming up for ClouD now, probably going to be building turrets if he is wary of Dark Templar like we saw in that first game on Fighting Spirit. Just building a single turret back here behind your bunker can help you, protect yourself against Dark Templar. Unless we see a very sneaky hallucinated Phoenix warping up the cliff sort of deal once again. But Socke is dropping a very, very close pylon. I wouldn't call it a proxy pylon, really. It's not like super duper close to ClouD's base. It's just kind of a hidden pylon off to the left side. It is going to cut that run distance by quite a bit, but still, I don't know. It's just kind of a strange position. He could have placed that pylon so much closer to those front lines, but it looks like he's not going to risk losing the pylon. He's just going to build it back a little bit further. But we do have quite a good mix of Tier 1 units here. Nexus number 2 is online, Gateway number 4 is coming up, and Gateway number 5 is coming up as well. So soon we'll be on 5 warp gates for Socke. That was a very, very strong build there on Icy Cup Valhalla, so I don't blame him at all for trying it again. Stim pack being researched, +1 weapons being researched as well. Still no turret. Oh, and as I say it, there comes an SCV to build one. So ClouD covering all his bases pretty well, getting those upgrades rolling. Check out the production tab. It's just a mile long, where Socke instead is just going to chrono boost warp gates, and that's going to be the rest of the game most likely. 38 harvesters for ClouD against 34 from Socke. This is actually the first game where ClouD has been in a clear harvester lead at this point in the game. Usually Socke has been keeping ahead of him with his dual chrono boost, but he's spending it on warp gates this time around instead of probes, so ClouD is actually going to take a bit of an economic lead. We see an armory and a starport being built now for ClouD. Units warping in constantly for Socke, and I'm going to have to hide this production tab because it's taking up too much space, and I want to see this battle in its full bloody glory. We have lots and lots of Zealots, Stalkers, and Sentries. Guardian Shield goes up instantly, covering every single unit. Force Fields trying to prevent the retreat of all these Marauders and Marines. I don't believe Stimpack is done. No, it is not. Oh, actually it is done. They did stim and run back concussive shells is what's researching right now. That's not quite done yet. Neither are the combat shields. So Socke still looking pretty solid here with this number of Stalkers. Force field on the ramp. Such a classic Protoss move. Going to keep those Marines up there on the high ground. If he just shifts to the left a little bit, they won't be able to fire at anything. And suddenly ClouD has no more army. He's just got a couple of idle mules and 4 Marines up at the top of the ramp against a solid number of Stalkers. 7 Stalkers and a Sentry still surviving. Looks like he's going to come into the mineral line, pick off whatever's left, although it's only a single SCV, trying to kill off this orbital command. Ooh, and look at this. Tons of SCVs being pulled from the main with the last few remaining Marines and Marauders. Will ClouD be able to hold this off? It doesn't really look like it. All those SCVs dying means that even if ClouD does repel this huge number of Stalkers, he will eventually lose the game anyway. So ClouD GG's. Socke is going to be our winner for this best of 3 series in the Justin.tv Invitational number 2. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to cast a lot more games from this tournament, as well as the Root Success Pays Invitational from last week. So stick around for some excellent games. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.